It is now 6:30, and I'd like to call this meeting of the Community Development Committee to order. While this meeting is being held in person, we are also offering the option for the public to participate through Zoom if preferred. Instructions on how to attend virtually are included in the City Council calendar item listed on the front page of the missionkansas.org. The public is also invited to participate in the meeting. If you are participating through Zoom, please either add your comment in the chat feature and it will be read out loud, or note that you would like to speak and we will call on you shortly to make your comment verbally. Please remember, your comments or questions are visible to everyone in the meeting. If you're a part of our in-person group tonight, please raise your hand, but stay seated and we will call on you to go to the lectern to make your comment. When you make your comment, please state your name and the city of residence for the record. Also, be conscientious of others trying to speak and speak slowly and clearly. This meeting will be recorded and posted to the city's website at missionkansas.org. Please contact the administration offices at 913-676-8350 with any questions or concerns. Ms. Fulks, please call the roll.
Hayden Champosi. Here. Ryherd.
Here.
Loudon. Here. Crane. Here. Schmidt.
Here.
Carpenter-Davis.
Here.
Sosi.
Here.
Public comments. Our first item of business tonight is public comment. Is there any member of the public who would like to comment now on an item not on our agenda tonight? Please note, public comments are limited to 3 minutes. Seeing none, move forward. We do not have any items tonight coming from the Planning Commission or any public presentations. Therefore, we will move into our action items. So our first action item is acceptance of the August 6, 2025 Community Development Committee meeting minutes. Robin Fulks.
Yes, thank you. Draft minutes of the August 6th Community Development Committee meeting are included for review and acceptance in your packet tonight.
Any questions?
Come in consent.
By consent? Okay. Our second action item this evening is for the approval of a contract award with Splashtacular for repairs to the orange slide at the Mission Family Aquatic Center from Penn Elementary.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. So before you, significantly sooner than we want it to be for the orange slide. In 2023, we got 4 bids and we awarded the lowest and most responsive bid to perform the work on interior gel coating and exterior painting. And the layers of gel coating were too thin. So they came out in 24, repaired, prepared, and laid more layers. They failed eventually in 25. They ground down too low and actually damaged the slide. So we held off on any improvement this year. And it wasn't budgeted this early, obviously. So we've found some monies from cost savings and replacing ceiling tiles at the Powell Community Center. And we've reorganized, prioritized at the MFAC, priorities at the MFAC. So the drainage will be pushed off another year while we find that funding. But we used $21,000 from the drainage, 10 grand from cost savings in a project at the community center, and then Blast Clean, the company who came out a couple times, is going to kick in the difference and cover that cost, which is great. So staff is recommending a contract with the original manufacturer, which will pull us back into the manufacturer's warranty for an amount not to exceed $36,775, with funding coming from the Parks and Recreation sales tax and those 3 areas. I'm happy to answer any questions.
I just want to thank you for the follow-up to get some of the reimbursement back. It's too bad they couldn't given us some leeway on being down for an entire year too. So
Yeah,
I appreciate the follow through. We need to get money back when we have those issues.
absolutely. Yeah.
Anyone else? Oh, sorry.
But I've noticed we've used this contractor on, I think, several other contracts. Is there something in particular about this slide, or is it just indicative of their work in general, or?
No, in fact, I mean, they started out as a pressure washing plastic sandblasting company. And so a lot of their projects have morphed over time to include more painting, more layers of application. And so they felt like they could do this and had done it in a couple other locations. One thing is unique to us. Those were indoor slides. Ours was outdoor. He's had the same staffing issues that we've had in Parks and Recreation. You're only as good as the team members in place. And when your A-listers get pulled away to a different company, then you've got your B talent. And so I think he fell prey to some of that.
Thank you.
Any other questions from the committee? Any questions from the public, Justin?
Thank you.
Okay.
I'm fine with this being on consent.
Consent?
Yeah.
Okay. Our final action item this evening is for approval of a contract award with Heartland Traffic Services for the 2025 pavement markings project from Brent Morton.
Thank you. Yeah, this is our 2025 pavement marking project. It is from Lamar to Metcalf. Most of our arterial streets and collectors, we usually do those when we resurface them. But we're not always able to get to them in a timely matter when the streets, pavement markings start degrading. Markway, we've crack sealed a couple times, a lot of wear and tear from the snow plows and stuff like that. So, it's due, can't really see it right now. We did the other half last year. So just moving forward and getting all that cleaned up all the way to Metcalf. We've had a few complaints, people not being able to see the lines, police brought it up, staff, council as well. So, we couldn't wrap it up in last year's package, so getting it dialed in this year. They're confident they can get it completed, hopefully by the end of September. We've moved more into this MMA. There's also another one, HPS 8, away from thermo. Even on 63rd, we went with MMA. It's getting us about 3 or 4 years more out of pavement markings now. There's a slight cost, but it's still a polymer material, but thermo sits pretty high off the ground, like the crosswalks you see. So the snow plows just destroy thermo. So everybody's kind of moving to something a little thinner that's still got the reflectivity, so longer lifespan. We went out to bid in July, got 2 bids, the same as last year. There's only so many contractors that apply this product now. And Heartland Traffic Service was the lowest again at $54,500. There's sufficient $215,000 in the budget for striping. So looking for approval to move forward with this in 2025. Be happy to answer any questions.
Do we have a warranty on the materials under this contract?
There's like a manufacturer's warranty. I think it's about 2 years, and pavement markings are very difficult to warranty with wear and tear, winters, salt use. So you might be able to get some kickback, but they'll usually make it through the warranty period. Thermo's the only one that I've seen. If we lay it down like now and we get a winter like we had last year, you'll have chipping and the plows and the salt we run over, it's just really hard on something sticking, an 1/8 of an inch off the pavement. So this stuff all as well, you got to grind off the old markings, just like a micro mill. So you get a little rough surface so it adheres better. So, a lot of cities and even the states going to a lot of this new material, just longer lifespan.
Thank you.
Any other questions from the committee? Any comments or questions from the public? Okay,
Thank you.
Recommend consent.
consent? Okay. That concludes our action items. We do not have any discussion items this evening. Before we adjourn, Ms. Smith, are there any department updates?
Yes, I think all of our departments have an update. So why don't we start with you, Brian, Chief, Penn, and then Stephanie.
We are getting ready to kick off our Rock Creek Trail Corridor study, or we've called it the East, we've called it the West, we decided to call it Phase 2. That just makes the most sense. So this is kind of a continuation of the Rock Creek Trail Corridor study that we did last year from Woodson going east to Roland Drive. This time we're going from Woodson west to Metcalf. And we've hired the same team again, Wilson Engineering, so they're very familiar with the last study and kind of all the work that was done with that. So it's kind of easy just to pick up that work and and continue on going west. We're having a steering committee again, like we did last time. That first meeting will be Thursday, September 25th. And we're taking volunteers. If any of you would like to participate on that, let myself or Laura know, and we'll be happy to get you some more details on that. We're looking for like 2 volunteers from each of the boards and commissions, the city council, the planning commission, and the tree board, as well as community volunteers.
Brian, are any of the students going to be able to volunteer who worked on the student project related to this?
Well,
Do we know?
they all have jobs.
They all have.
One of them we actually hired. He's part of the Wilson team now, so, yeah. And then we, like last time, we're doing a walk and roll. And so that event will be on Saturday, October 4th. And anybody and everybody's welcome to attend that. It's going to be from 10 to noon. We're going to be meeting at the Johnson County facilities of Lamar in their parking lot. And then if you want to bike, you can kind of go with one group and bike the trail and go all the way down the trail and kind of down Broadmoor and back on Martway. If you are up to walking all of that, you can take a walking tour of the same path, or we have a little shorter walk. Just kind of walk the trail itself. So it should be about a 2-hour event. It's an opportunity to just kind of make any observations of what you think of the trail and areas you'd like to see improvement, et cetera. So it's going to be probably about a 3 or 4 month study. We'll kind of wrap everything up around the holidays, and we'll have an open house sometime after the holidays when everybody's kind of back into the swing of things. It'll give a final report to the planning commission and you all sometime in early winter. So that's all I have. Thank you.
May I ask a question? Brian, may I ask a question? There, behind the Johnson County building and then Hy-Vee and then beyond the trail right now, there was work being done the other day, so.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I'll let Penn answer that.
Oh,
That's
okay,
more his
sorry.
bailiwick than mine, so.
sorry.
Well, I have one official department update, and then I wanted to just remind everybody, because I looked outside in the window and saw the wind was picking up, that if we were to have any severe weather, we would go down to the police department holding facility for that. But also wanted to let everybody know that our tradition of our Cone with the Cop will continue, and that was Thursday, September 18th from 6 to 8 at Baskin Robbins. So we'll be looking forward to a little bit later this year, but it worked out better to get the word out to our school kids about that. So we'll be looking forward to that, and would welcome you all to come to that as well. It is Thursday, September 18th from 6 to 8.
Okay, you may have noticed that the Powell Community Center is back open, and a lot of positive feedback from our patrons. We actually sold 4 memberships today, so I hope they weren't just standing at the door waiting for us while we were closed, but that was really positive to see. So some of the things that we've gotten specific feedback, obviously, anytime you polish and reseal a hardwood court, it's very noticeable. And so everybody has kind of made comments about that. We actually decided to add a little bit of blue tint to our new pool plaster. And so it's got this Caribbean kind of water look to it, which is wonderful. And then after painting a lot of the doors, I realized that we have 98 doors in the community center. And so fortunately, I didn't have to paint all of those, but it kind of gives you a little bit of respect for how much there is to do in a 80,000 square foot facility. So it's a Herculean effort. A lot of our team helped out, and obviously a lot of vendors stepped up to make us look as good as we do. So swing on by, check it out. Upcoming this month, Friday, September 19th, is a concert in the park at Mohawk Park. We're pretty excited to host a concert there for the first time. That'll start at 6 p.m. We'll have a couple food trucks, and then the group's called the Good Fuzz. And so we're anticipating Rock Creek Brewery being there, One of the food trucks is Chick-fil-A, another one is Eat Schmidt. We've heard great reviews from both of those. And then the following day, Saturday, September 20th, is our tree drive. So we have 28 trees left to give away or sell. We've got a great response. They kind of continually come in every other day. I get one or two. And so we'll put any that we don't sell to good use here locally in our park system. They're all underrepresented and native trees for our parks, which is wonderful. So it's not like we're duplicating the same species that we have in high number of all of our parks. But happy to answer any questions about that. That's going to be 9 to 12 at the Powell Community Center. Patrons can come and pick up their trees and pay at the same time.
And I know there were questions at the market from a couple of non-residents on whether it's exclusive to Mission residents or not. I was wondering if you could answer that.
Yes, so initially it was exclusive to residents. We want to make sure that they all have ample opportunity to take advantage of at-cost pricing, but we will open it up to some of our neighbors as long as we keep a limit to how many they can kind of reserve. Yes.
I have a neighbor who's wanting a tree and I gave her your name and contact as is there somebody else at the community center so you don't have to take home these calls?
No, I'm happy to do it. It's really, there've only been 13 individuals who've reached out and reserved 1 or 2 trees. I think one of those reserved 3, but I'm happy to be that point of contact. Our PRT is going to step up and help out with distribution on Saturday, but I'm trying to keep it organized in one point of contact. Thanks.
Question about the working trail.
Oh, yeah. Rock Creek Trail, McConnell and Associates is working on that. They've got several sections that needed to be milled deeper than a typical 2-inch. So some of those sections are taking longer than they had anticipated. They originally told me 2 days, but of course, originally that was supposed to be back in July. So a few delays here. I'm not sure if they're working with smaller numbers on their crew, but we're hoping they get finished this week. We sent out social media posts outlining the detour. Since the section is between Lamar and Barkley, the detour is going to be pushing them along Martway Street.
Thank you.
You bet.
Hello, just a quick update on our Safe Streets and Roads for All project. The survey and the interactive map are now closed. And with that, we received 135 survey responses, 190 map pins, and 264 votes on the map. So on the comments that were on there, you could give it a thumbs up or a thumbs down. So a lot of great interaction from the community. And we are planning our community open house that will take place in October. We don't have a date set yet, so as soon as I have that, I'll pass that information on. And so that's moving forward. They're going to start working on the final draft to present later this year to the council and the community. And then street project, we have our 2025 street project that's wrapping up over in Milhaven on Beverly. I believe the base layer should be down next week. Okay. Yep. And after that, they'll put the top layer of asphalt on all the streets and then hopefully just do the restoration and that will be done. We're planning for our couple big projects next year, the Johnson Drive and the Rock Creek channel improvement. So that's kind of going on behind the scenes and we'll prepare for that next year.
Stephanie, I had a question. I think there was an additional stormwater like box or channel added on Maple. Was that part of the original plan? I just couldn't remember. It's close to my house, so I've noticed it. So I didn't know if that was part of the original design. Oh, okay. Great. Okay, perfect.
Any other questions? All right, thanks.
I have a question.
So Councilmember Vaughn is joined us online.
Sure.
My question is, how many people got to participate in the survey?
It looks like it's well over 200 people, which was our goal.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Are there any other updates?
Nope. That concludes the updates this evening.
Okay, it is now 6:50 PM with no further discussion. That concludes the meeting of the Community Development Committee. Again, this video will be made public on our website at missionkansas.org, and thank you very much.
It is now 6:51 PM, and I'd like to call this meeting of the Finance and Administration Committee to order. While this meeting is being held in person, we are also offering the option for the public to participate through Zoom if preferred. Instructions on how to attend virtually are included in the City Council calendar item listed on the front page of missionks.org. The public is also invited to participate in the meeting. If you are participating through Zoom, please either add your comment in the chat feature and it will be read out loud, or note that you would like to speak and we will call on you shortly to make your comment verbally. Please remember your comments or questions are visible to everyone in the meeting. If you are part of our in-person group tonight, please raise your hand but stay seated and we will call on you to go to the lectern to make your comment. When you make your comment, please state your name and city of residence for the record, as well as being conscientious of others trying to speak and speak slowly and clearly. This meeting will be recorded and posted on the city's website at missionks.org. Please contact the administration offices at 913-676-8350 with any questions or concerns. Ms. Folks, please call the roll.
Vaughn. He's present via Zoom. Hayden Chomposi. Here. Ryherd. Here. Loudon. Here. Pring. Here. Schmid.
Here.
Carpenter-Davis.
Here.
Josie.
Here.
Our first item of business tonight is public comment. Is there any member of the public who would like to comment now on an item not on our agenda tonight? Please note public comments are limited to 3 minutes. I don't see anyone in person. Do we have anyone online? No, we do not. All right, no more public comment. We have no public presentations this evening, so we're going to move into action items. Our first action item this evening is the acceptance of the meeting minutes from Robin Folks.
Yes, thank you. Draft minutes of the August 6th Finance and Administration Committee meeting were included for review and acceptance in your packet tonight.
Any questions or comments from the committee? I do not see any, and I see none from the public.
Recommend acceptance on consent.
Consent, thank you. Our next action item this evening is for consideration of a special event permit application for the 2025 Milhaven Homeowners Association picnic, also from Robin Folks.
Yes, thank you. The Milhaven Homeowners Association has submitted a special event permit to host their annual meeting and picnic at Mohawk Park on September 27th from 5 to 9 p.m. They offer live music, games, and residents can bring food and drink. In order for residents to be able to bring alcoholic beverages, though, we do need council approval of the special event permit. They have held this event for many years with no problems, so we do recommend approval of the permit.
Any questions or comments from the committee? Consent.
Thank you.
Sounds great. Thank you. Our third action item this evening is for consideration of an adoption of the 2025 Uniform Public Offense Code and Standard Traffic Ordinance from Dan Madden.
Thank you. Each year we update, the League of Kansas Municipalities updates the Standard Traffic Ordinance and the Uniform Public Offense Code to meet current any statutes that have changed. It gives us the ability to issue those violations in municipal court. Those in 2025, this newest version, there are a few changes in the Uniform Public Offense Code. The one that would impact us the most would be the trespassing on critical infrastructure facility. We do have those in our city, as well as I think that was in response to some cutting of the lines, fiber lines that was happening probably by some copper thieves. But I wanted to make sure that was specific enough in that. In the standard traffic ordinance, the thing that probably will be the most educational to you all in the public is the passing a stationary vehicle while displaying the hazard or caution signals. Previously, that was strictly reserved for emergency vehicles where you had to pull over to the side, move over and slow down. Now it applies to any vehicle that's displaying a hazard warning of any type. The unlawful operation of a worksite vehicle probably won't really pertain to us. Also, the city has historically chosen to remove certain sections of the Uniform Public Offense Code and the standard traffic ordinance. Those sections in the Uniform Public Offense Code are related to smoking prohibitions, and that's due to us having our own set of ordinances related to that. We also have our own ordinance related to animal cruelty. We found that the one in the state version applies a lot to Western Kansas, more rural settings, and this applies more to our situation here. And then dangerous animals is also handled in our own ordinances. In the standard traffic ordinance, it's the speed limits are deleted because we regulate those in our code, as well as the school zone fines that we relate those in ours. So those are the main changes that we would be looking at for the adoption of the standard traffic ordinance and the Uniform Public Offense Code. And I believe there's 2 ordinances for your approval. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Chief. Any questions from the committee? I do not see any. I do not see any from the public. Can I get a recommendation then?
Recommend acceptance on consent.
Consent. Thank you. Thank you, Chief. Our 4th action item this evening is for consideration of a resolution adopting a compensation step plan for the Mission Police Department from Laura Smith and Dan Madden.
All right. I feel like this is kind of Groundhog Day talking about pay and stuff again. But this was the next step that we discussed in our previous meetings about implementing a step plan for our non-exempt sworn staff. This provides a roadmap for where their earnings are and where their earnings potential would be. It can also aid in recruiting as well as the retention that it provides. As you see, there's 9 steps in the police officer 1 position. That's a lengthier step than the others. After you go beyond that, you're a police officer 2 or detective. We've kind of combined the police officer 2 and detective into one group because the police officer 2s handle some supervisory tasks when supervisors are unavailable, and detectives do things beyond the scope of what a police officer 1 does. And then it moves up to the sergeants and lieutenants. Pretty aggressive in getting those positions topped out. That seems to be the norm of what's happening with other agencies that offer step plans. It also provides them the opportunity to look and see what they could get if they continue to strive to be the best and move on for promotions. So we have had issues sometimes with people putting in for promotions because you kind of start over. And so we want to make sure that it's very beneficial for somebody to want to be promoted, because we need that in the situation that that we're in with several retirements on the horizon. So I believe this plan also would benefit the city and the fact that it would kind of stabilize the budget. When you have your supervisory staff topped out, it really allows us to budget better and more accurately for growth in those situations. So we've put those together when you approved the last pay raise in May, I believe. We anticipated this step plan going into effect. So the majority of people were moved to where they would be in that step plan. There were some exceptions that received a raise that was capped at a certain percentage. So this will allow us to get those things squared away and the administration of the step plan to go into place so we can move forward.
Before I have any questions, I might just add a couple more administrative kind of, or go ahead, the question.
For people transferring in that are not currently in the step program, would they come in, like if it's a step 4, based on the salary they would come into, they would go into the step commensurate with the salary, is that correct?
Yes.
Commensurate with their, really more commensurate with their experience,
Yeah.
but their salary would align with their experience, and that's how they would be slotted into the appropriate step.
This is very commensurate with federal government and how they do it. There are 10 steps within each grade. And then you move up and you can get quality step increases based on special projects and things like that. But that makes a lot of sense. And that way we're doing things more incrementally, I believe, than all at one time.
Yeah. So it is a program that, in meeting with the staff and Laura, that they really enjoy having that flexibility, the knowledge of seeing in black and white where they will go. Of course, there are stipulations. They're not gonna, they're not automatically getting their increase. They have to meet the expectations, and we're gonna have some of those guardrails in place to make sure that, you're not just gonna come and collect a check and not do your job. There's still performance tied in. Olathe, Shawnee, I believe Overland Park does, Shawnee's is kind of a hybrid. They offer step and merit. So there's a lot of variations of it, but it's a plan. It's something a lot of other cities are looking into, just for the same kind of reasons that we are. It provides the transparency to people when they're looking at different jobs and where they want to work.
I'll go too far because I'm sure they'll have questions I can't answer. So, and I want to commend the chief for the work that he's put in. He's been really a tireless advocate for the department and making these changes. As he mentioned, when we came to you in May, we were essentially working from the step plan, which was included in your packet this evening. And we asked for authority up to about $250,000 to make that initial transition to move the majority of the employees into their appropriate steps. Now, I realized as we were working on this that what I didn't caveat then was that's over the course of a year. That's an annual expense, not just the one-time expense. And so then as we've gone back to look at those employees, as the chief mentioned, that were capped at 20% in the first round of increases, and then a couple of other adjustments that have occurred through changes in personnel, and then trying to factor in something appropriate for the 3 exempt employees that are in the department. So the exempt employees are captain, deputy chief, and chief. It doesn't feel appropriate to include them in a step plan, and I think consistent with a lot of the other agencies, they go up to that rank of sergeant, in our case, more consistent with lieutenant. But they will still be evaluated very similarly to where they are. So that the additional changes that are in front of you this evening to become effective October 1st with implementation of the step plan would be about another $103,000. On top of that, as the chief was discussing, we do have, with implementation of the full step plan, we have about 1/3 of the department that will be at the top of their ranges. And so again, that provides some stability and predictability from a budgetary standpoint. That $350,000 as a percent of the total police department payroll is about 8%. I don't know what to do with that number other than to just say it's that percentage. But I think one of the things that you'll see before you, as you can look at this step plan, is the percentage increases between steps are not exorbitant. They're, somewhere between 4 and 5%. Our average merit increases have been somewhere between 3.5% and 4%. So on an ongoing basis, once we get over this implementation hurdle, the growth is sustainable. We believe from that perspective. And I was going to say, and the chief touched on that performance is still a component of that. One of the things that we've been working on and why it's taken us between May and now to come back to you is really wanting to look at the administration of the plan so that we can be clear in communicating that to the employees when we move toward implementation. So right now, all of our employees are evaluated on exactly the same time frame. So evaluations happen in October and merit increases are given in November. Obviously, that doesn't work with the step plan. So one of the things that the chief and deputy chief have really been working on is how do we transition so that we are prepared to do evaluations on anniversary dates, which is when those employees in a step would move and have that data available for that case. I think either one of us would be happy to answer any other questions that you might have.
Yeah.
I just want to raise one point. You can see if my math is right, but I think, so we're talking about $353,000 overall annual budget impact, which when we're looking at the 2026 budget equates to about 1.5 mils just for this singular increased cost. So I think that's a good example to highlight for the public of the increased costs that we're facing in trying to put together the budget, because 1.5 mils would be 348,000 and this is 353.
I had a clarifying question. So looking at the table, did I hear that correctly that, for example, if you're at a step 8 as a police officer 1 and you're making 88, if you get promoted to a police officer 2, you start over? Is that accurate? Or did I hear that incorrectly?
No, what I was referring more to, I guess to answer your question directly, we would generally put them in a step that would give them an increase.
Got it. Okay.
So regardless of the increase, we'd move them like if somebody was a step 8 PO1 and moved into a police officer 2, they would
How long typically do you anticipate it takes someone to move from police officer 1 to police officer 2?
It's usually well before that.
Okay.
I believe we only have one police officer that is going to step 8 out of all of our police officers. So,
okay.
What I was kind of referring to about you start over is more on the seniority list, and that's how they schedule is bid. So they get to choose their days off and things like that by seniority. So if you're the top police officer 1, you're the most senior, we want to incentivize you being able to go to the next step to make sure that there's enough rubles to make it worthwhile.
Cool. Thank you.
You know, I want a promotion to be a financial disincentive, and it has actually resulted in that at times with this.
That's what I thought I heard. I was like, that can't be right. I'll clarify that. Thank you. Yeah. Any other?
Councilmember Vaughn has a question, I believe.
No, she's not down there. Yes. Want to go ahead?
Okay, I just wanted to know, are you down officers or are you fully staffed?
No, we are currently on paper. I always have to caveat, on paper, we're down 2 officers. In reality, we're down 5 that aren't taking up a spot on the schedule.
Based on the looks on faces, I think you need to explain.
Okay,
that.
so we have 2 people actually now we have 3 people in the police academy. We have 2 going to Johnson County and 1 going to the Kansas Law Enforcement Training Center. So while those are, obviously valued employees, they're not filling up a spot on the schedule to provide relief to the officers. So that's what I mean by in reality, but in paper, we need to hire 2 additional officers to be fully staffed.
So when will those officers be able to support you guys actually? Not on paper.
In general, from the start of the police academy to the time that they are by themselves in a car is around 11 months.
Where are they in that process?
They're still in the academy. 2 of them graduate the police academy on September 30th. Then they enter the field training program that is another 4 to 5 months. And then the officer that we have down in the KLETC will graduate in December, and then he'll start the field training process after that. So.
Any additional questions, Debbie? Yeah.
We have 2 detectives and then 1 detective supervisor.
Seeing no other comments or questions, can I get a recommendation on this, please?
Regular agenda.
Regular? Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you. Our last 3 action items this evening are related to the adoption of the 2025 revised and 2026 recommended budgets, also from Laura Smith.
So at the behest of the mayor, who said to me last Friday, you're not going to give a long presentation on the budget on Wednesday night, right? And I said, right. But this is really just kind of a touch base of where we are in the process. Don't have any new information to present, but we are published for our statutorily required public hearing on the 2026 budget and revenue neutral rates for 7 p.m. on Wednesday, September 17th, which is our regularly scheduled city council meeting. So you will hold public hearings on those, and should you make the decision at the conclusion of those hearings and want to exceed the revenue neutral rate in the City of Mission budget for 2026 or Rock Creek Drainage District number 2 for 2026, you would immediately pass a resolution. And so those are the resolutions that are included in your packet. The next item is just one that we have historically passed. It is a resolution which then would formally adopt the city's 2025 revised and 2026 recommended budgets. And it's a tool that we've used really to sort of identify many of the underlying policies, fees, tax decisions that have been factored into that particular year's budget. So it's a place where we can point the public to say, these are kind of all of the things that came into and resulted in the recommendation that's before you. And then very similarly, there would be 2 resolutions that adopt the budgets for Rock Creek Drainage District number 1 and Rock Creek Drainage District number 2. And really the resolutions are the formality that allows us to best communicate to the county clerk what the anticipated tax rate is for the next year. So those are the things that are all scheduled for consideration. They will appear on your September 17th legislative agenda. We will be working to create a landing page for the budget on the city's website, where we will have collected all of the materials that have been presented up to this point, along with my final memorandum and recommendation, and then many of the items that we've been talking about that you have wanted to see to share information with the public. So our goal is to have that up no later than Monday of next week. So there's ample opportunity and we can help direct people to that process. So be happy to answer any other remaining questions on the budget. Otherwise, that concludes my presentation.
Are there any questions from the committee tonight? Yep, Liam.
Wanda.
In finding out how much the Johnson County intends to increase their mills, I'm really struggling to increase ours as well. Is there anything else that we can kind of adjust so that we don't have to go for the full amount that we're proposing?
I don't believe Johnson County is increasing their mills. Johnson County is maintaining their mill levy at the same rate.
And Laura, were you able to confirm if Consolidated Fire is also maintaining their mill? Because that's
We
the
believe
last
so.
I
We're,
heard.
they're still trying to
Okay.
confirm that, but until they've,
I'm confused. Maybe I've got news.
and I'm happy to look, if you want, we can look at something after. I don't believe that there is anybody other than, in Johnson County, other than us and the city of Westwood, who has anticipated or considered a mill levy increase. Everybody else is, now, that may mean their revenues are increasing because they have not rolled back to the revenue neutral rate. And if you're looking at a tax notice, that's very confusing because the revenue neutral rate, there's not anybody who is using the revenue neutral rate in the calculation of their budgets.
So here's, I'm reading, the Johnson County Board of County Commissioners have planned a 6.5% increase for the county's portion of property taxes for the 2026 budget.
So that is because of, if they hold the mill levy constant and the underlying assessed valuation increases, that can result in and will result in an increase in the revenue generated by property taxes. We apply the same mill levy, and it's what we have historically done in many of our budget years as well, and most of the other taxing entities. I don't have, actually, I do have that table.
Table from last week, I have it.
Yeah, it's in here. No, I'll find that, but I'm happy to sit down with you if you want to walk through. But I do, Johnson County is just like in Mission. If the underlying assessed valuation of your home goes up, but the mill levy stays the same, you will pay more in taxes. And that is what I believe the county is doing for the 2026 budget.
Are there any other questions or comments from the committee tonight?
One of the things I'd like to see is financial assistance program put out there at the same time with the budget, so
Mhm.
people understand what their threshold is and
Okay.
qualify. That'll make a difference.
I do not see any others. I don't believe there's any public comment. So I'll take a recommendation on this one, but I'm going to recommend to myself that it goes on the regular agenda.
I do recommend we hold the
Thank you.
required meetings. Yes.
Well, the public hearing will happen first, and then the resolutions for the city's budget and the drainage districts will occur later on the agenda. The resolution to exceed revenue neutral will be right after your public hearing. It's kind of a strange process that's mandated by the state statutes.
We don't have any discussion items this evening. Do we have any department updates that were not already covered?
We covered all of them under the CDC agenda.
Great. With that, it is now 7:18 p.m. and with no further discussion, that concludes the meeting of the Finance and Administration Committee.